Hey guys, it's me, doing a little part 2 of showing off my really old stuff, or older stuff. Most of this stuff is only like 6 years old. Anyways, today I'm showing to you my oldest minifigures. Let me start with this one, who is the oldest of them all. He is, if the camera will focus on him, you know what, I'm gonna wipe down the camera, give me a second. I keep saying camera as if I'm using a proper camera. I'm actually using a Samsung Galaxy S9. I actually got this phone specifically for its camera. Anyways, this is an American soldier that I made back in 2015. Back when Brickmania still sold Roglins decals. I just gave him decals that I thought would just look cool. The camera's still not focusing, which is annoying. Yeah, it even chipped in the back then because I was using a sealant that was way too strong. It double coated when you really only needed one coat, and the problem with double coating a decaled figure is that it causes it to crack. It causes the decals to crack, and sometimes the figure itself. Anyways, next up, we got an American soldier that I got in the same order that I got my first ever Jeep in. Not too much to say about him. Pretty generic figure. Literally one-sided. The camera just does not want to cooperate with me. As an aside, I am very happy that, I have white lighting, or at least somewhat white-ish lighting. I'm sure a lot of you guys remember that a lot of my older videos, they are quite yellow. I also like to show on this guy. Is it this guy? One of them has a cracked torso, and I think it's this one. Oh, well. I could have sworn this guy had a cracked torso. I'm only going to be showing off this one guy because the rest of them are literally identical. I also got all of these back in 2015, I believe. Got them around the same time. For an autofocus, this thing really just focuses when... Yeah, it just focuses whenever the heck it wants to, rather than when I want it to. Anyways, here's a 101st Airborne that I got with a howitzer a while back. It's my first ever airborne trooper. Focus, dang it. Well, you can kind of see it. Now you can't. Now you can. My goodness. This was right around the time that Brickmania was doing a lot more of the combined torso and hip printing. So it's really nice to see a little bit of an evolution in Brickmania figures. Albeit, I stopped getting a lot of American stuff right around the time that I got into a bunch of German stuff, so it's a lot less noticeable. My German figures are generally much newer than my Americans. Here is a limited edition Brick Arms figure. I think his name was Private Carpetti. I still have this little card. I got this in the same order that I did with the Jeep, and I am very lucky that I did. He has not been restocked since 2016. I remember back then, the main advertising point of him was the texture printing on his torso. Yeah, and I can kind of feel it. It's pretty standard on Brickmania figures today, but back then it was a pretty new thing, because back then they just did regular pad printing. And he also has an overmolded M1 carbine. I think that's an M1 carbine, as well as this ammo clip. He also came with an olive green box. I still have it on my little shelf, but since it's not a minifigure, I don't really feel the need to show it off today. Anyways, next figure is this medic figure. My dad really likes this one. He was a medic when he was in the army, so he encouraged me to get this. And I thought it was a pretty cool figure, so I did. This was right around the time Brickmania started getting way more detail with their figures. Hip printing, foot printing. Honestly, it just feels nice to see the improvement over the years on this. On to the British. So a little bit of an embarrassing story about this one. If I recall correctly, right around the time that this figure came out, they came out with a new version of the SMLE rifle. And I believe I mistook it for a Springfield or a Mosin Nagant on Instagram, and I just got absolutely flamed for it. I laugh about it now, but back then I was pretty embarrassed about it. I don't know why that keeps coming up in my memory whenever I see this. Well, I actually know why. It's because it's an SMLE. I know that now. I know to never make that mistake, because people were getting genuinely angry at me for it. I mean, yikes, my dudes. It's just a piece of plastic. And on the note of British people, I got some more of these desert rats. This is actually one of the first Brickmania figures I ever got from eBay. He came in a $20 pack with a, I think it was a, not Citizen Brick, United Bricks? No, not them either. He had a different face, but it was one of these. But yeah, I really miss the days where you can get really cheap Brickmania figures, because nowadays there's just a bunch of scalpers on eBay. On occasion you can find some really good deals, but the vast majority I found were just scalpers. It's insane. The other guy, he was pretty much the same. I believe I also got him on eBay, but I think I just got him by himself. Not too much to say, other than his belt is slightly different. It is not reflective. You can tell that I look at these figures way too often. Or maybe I'm just observant. I can't tell. Here we got the last instance of Brickmania releasing a French rifleman. World War II one anyway. They released these a few years ago, and I picked up 2 of them because I got the feeling they wouldn't be restocking them anytime soon. And I was right. No, I really wish Brickmania would do more of... Well, France wasn't a minor nation, but I kind of wish they'd do something outside of the usual Americans, British, Soviets, and Germans, Japanese. Though there's quite a few nations on their own, but you know, there were other nations that fought in World War II. It's pretty interesting to take a look at those who aren't mentioned as much. Now, ignoring the irony, let's go to the most popular World War II power, the Germans. I have this German, this isn't a rifleman, this is just an infantryman with a pretty cool print. I believe he is also texture printed. He's way too shiny for the camera to really pick up any detail on him. But he comes with a texture printed helmet. He's the only figure to really have the bumps on the side printed with texture printing. And honestly, he just looks super cool. And I gave him the old Brick Arms MP40, I think that is, because, you know, it's what he was advertised with. And I like the new MP40s, don't get me wrong, but that one just has a little bit of a charm to it. Anyways, on to the Riflemen. Those of you who have been with me on Instagram for quite some time, you remember I used to have 2 of them. Funny story. When I was posing some figures for some photos on Instagram, I lost one of them. Fortunately, I didn't lose the one with the overmolded weapons, which is how I still have him. But I was a little bit broken up about it. Yeah, so be careful when posing your figures in actual grass. You might actually lose them. He does come with this exclusive camo printed helmet. Really cool, honestly. I wish, you know, there's still another one of them up for grabs on eBay. I might get them. And last but not least, you have the Winter Germans. Not too much to say about this one. Just a really nice printing job. Brickmania came out with some Battle of the Bulge Germans about a year and a half ago. They look pretty nice, but I was focused on other things, so I did not pick them up. Anyways, oh my gosh. I'm at 9 minutes. I talk too much. I'm sorry. Now, onto the last thing for today's video. So, I was going through some boxes earlier, and I found some of the stuff that I used to hang up on my wall. And I like to show some of them off. They're not too interesting, but, you know, I'd like to show them off. Got a little card for Rogulin's decals. Roglin, he hasn't been active for a little while. Last I checked, he's still on vacation. I hope he doesn't go the same way as MMCB does. You know, I'm on hiatus, and then never comes back, because I really like Roglin's stuff. And I've got some background stuff. I used to have this in the background of my videos, really old drawing of mine. Yes, I still draw, and yes, I drew this. I promise I've gotten better. And I just had this as a little bit of a background gag. I think I directly mentioned it once. I was so proud of my drawings back then. Anyways, thank you guys for sticking with me on this little mini series. I doubt this is going to do as well as my normal reviews do. But you know what? I just wanted to do something. And thank you guys for sticking with me. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Brickmania reviews sometime soon. I don't know. College is still draining a lot of my time. Anyways, thank you guys for sticking with me for a combined 20 minutes of this. And I hope I wasn't too annoying. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.